Number one strawweight contender and future strawweight champion, Tatiana Suarez predicts that she is going to win her title fight against Zhang Weili in dominant fashion. I mean, okay, this MMA fighting page spelled, I think, wrong. I guess they made a bit of an error unknowingly, and they didn't think to delete the post and edit. Kind of doesn't sit right with me, but anyway, just gonna ignore my OCD. Um, so she said, I think it's the real main event. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win a world title in dominant fashion. I mean, look, in the eyes of the general public and all the fans, most people would disagree that it's the real main event, given the fact that women's MMA doesn't get enough respect from the general fan base, mainly the male fans. More people, I would say, are objectively looking forward to Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis 2. But then again, at the same time, a lot of people are unhappy that Sean is getting his rematch title shot over Khamzat getting his title shot. But at the same time, there's also a lot of people unhappy with Tatiana getting her shot when she hasn't fought since 2023. But for my personal opinion, as a fan of Tatiana Suarez and this fight in general, I would happen to agree with Tatiana. This is my main event. I'm more looking forward to this fight than the main event. I don't care what happens in the main event. I am emotionally invested in the outcome of Zhang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. And this is a matchup that I've said many times I've been waiting to see for a long ass time, even before Zhang Weili was a world champion. I've always thought of this matchup as a possibility when both of them were like up and coming prospects in the division before either of these two sniffed the title fight. And now here they are fighting for the title of the world, the biggest, or for the championship of the world, the biggest stage possible after 6 years. And I mean, I like that confidence that she believes that she's going to go out there and dominate Zhang Weili. And I mean, that is a very bold prediction because Zhang is a very dominant fighter. And I mean, outside her one defeat, or no, she's lost to Rose twice. But I mean, outside of getting knocked out in the first minute by Thug Rose, she's never truly been dominated in a fight. The second fight with Rose was extremely close, and a lot of people thought that, it was debatable that Zhang won. Weili's pre-UFC loss, I didn't see that fight. I don't know how competitive it was. I don't know if Weili got dominated or not. I think I did watch some tape on Weili's first career loss, but whatever, doesn't really matter. My point still stands. Even that fight with Joanna, the first fight, where a lot of people thought that she could have lost, it was still a very close fight. It's either Zhang Weili has close fights, where either she gets the better end of it or not, like the second Rose fight, or she has to get caught early, like the first Rose fight, or she goes out there and completely manhandles, destroys, dominates her opponents. But if anyone can actually dominate Zhang, it's definitely Tatiana. I'm not sure if she'll dominate the fight. This has all the recipes to be an extremely closely contested title fight. Very high level matchup, but Tatiana with her wrestling game, it's very possible she could go out there and get her takedowns round after round and control Zhang on the canvas for extended periods of time and potentially maul her. And I mean, this would be huge if Tatiana could win this fight in dominant fashion, given the fact that, like I said, Weili has never truly been dominated in a fight. And I mean, that would be so demoralizing for Zhang Weili if she were to get the floor mopped with herself by an opponent where she has no moments where she could hold on to and say, well, you know what? I did good in this moment, so this makes me confident for my chances in a rematch. If she gets completely shut down and shut out by Tatiana Suarez's style, if she can't land a clean punch and can't consistently defend takedowns, can't get off her back, and she's getting drowned and smothered from the bottom position by Tatiana Suarez, it's going to be very interesting just to see how Zhang Weili mentally is going to be able to cope with that kind of loss and how she'll be able to come back from it, because a loss like that could maybe result in the downfall of Zhang Weili. Because, I mean, for example, Tyrone Woodley, when he got completely dominated by Kamaru Usman for all 5 rounds, he was never the same. And Israel Adesanya, when he got dominated by Sean Strickland for all 5 rounds, he was never the same fighter. So, I mean, I know we've seen a lot of these dominant champions lose and come back, especially in women's MMA, but like, Amanda Nunes wasn't dominated by Juliana in the first fight. She won the first round, she was winning until she gassed, and Valentina wasn't dominated in any of the first couple fights by Grasso, especially the first one where she got subbed. She had that one in the bag until she made that mistake, and then she corrected that mistake, took a couple fights, but she did defeat Alexa in the trilogy. But how will Weili bounce back from a loss like this? And then if Tatiana manages to go out there and completely shut down Zhang, I think a performance like that for Tatiana Suarez will completely change the way fans view Tatiana. I think you'll answer a lot of questions as to how good Tatiana Suarez is. If fans see her go out there and conquer the Goliath, who's, had a history of conquering other Goliaths, Zhang Weili going out there taking out Joanna twice, and Jessica Andrade, and beating other former champions, and essentially cleaning out the division aside from Rose. If fans can see Weili or Tatiana go out there and be one of the very few women in the UFC to get the job done and get it done convincingly, I think Tatiana's going to win a lot of respect from the fans. I think people are going to know how good she is. No one's going to be arguing whether she's overrated or not. I think people are going to be sold on Tatiana. And a lot of the people who were hating on Tatiana are going to act like they were never haters. They're going to act like they've been supporting her this whole time, even though we know a lot of these fans in MMA are fake and fickle. And a lot of fans will jump the bandwagon and act like, they had a completely different narrative from what they actually had. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that Tatiana dominates the fight. I think she could do it. I think she's going to win the fight regardless. It might be a competitive fight until she, catches Zhang Weili in a submission. Or maybe it will be, a close but clear decision. Maybe it'll be competitive, but it'll be clear that Tatiana will have done enough when the fight goes the distance. But Zhang Weili, because she's Zhang Weili, will have a lot of big moments. She'll have a lot of good moments in this fight against Tatiana, which then could maybe set up a potential rematch in the future. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is Tatiana Suarez delusional? Or can she go out there and dominate the fight? Like and subscribe, and peace out.